I took my Krieg army to an RTT this last weekend and had a great time. And I came away without losing, which is a massively successful Krieg day out in my book. I don't want to go through all the day in detail, but wanted to give an overview of how the Krieg played, what things I've learned, and strategies I found most useful. For transparency, I ran my Krieg army with Cadian rules, but they are just so much stronger. My list was a bit of a mixture of infantry, cavalry, tanks and artillery, basically all the models I like the most. Also, I thought it was an opportunity just to test some stuff out. I had 4 squads of infantry and 10-man blob of conscripts, various bits of out of line of sight shooting artillery, Death Rider cavalry because I just love the aesthetic, a Forge World Alpha Patton Lehman Russ and a Baneblade. I was pretty sure the Baneblade isn't very good, but I've painted it up and not played with it yet, so I wanted to use it. Also, the Death Riders aren't very good. You end up getting more attacks from the horse's hooves than the riders themselves, but I do love them. The RTT was hosted by Tabletop Events and March of War. All the links are in the descriptions below. And I really think it's a fantastic group of people, really well organised, love the terrain, rich tables. Can't recommend it any more highly. They also have tons of variety to the events they actually even host. I'd now like to summarise how my army played, pick out some of the coolest and best tactics. Playing Imperial Guard at the moment, you do really need to play to what you get from the balanced data slate. So that's Hammer of the Emperor, auto wounding 6s to hit, 3 upgrades on infantry squads, unnerved out of line of sight shooting, tank orders on all vehicles, infantry orders that can affect many units within range, and with this in mind, the use of Death Riders doesn't really make sense. They're a little better on the charge, but getting stuck in combat, they're just not that good. It's a good job, I really enjoy playing them still. Think about a weight of fire and finding those 6s to hit. It's one of the reasons why I chose Cadian rules in the first place. The doctrine is reroll 1s to hit when stationary, which is a nice 16.6% increase in output. Combining this with the infantry order take aim, that means they can reroll all hits when stationary. And in case they've moved, you have the Cadian strat shock troops for 1 CP to make them considered to be remaining stationary. And on top of that, you also get an extra pip of AP. So the other main features for choosing Cadian rules is just all the strats that they have available that the others don't. Let's link this to my army list MVPs, the conscripts. My blob of 30 did me proud. I had them out front, the perfect screen against any advancing army, and the weight of fire they could pump out, which just made me laugh. I made them white shields for 1 CP, which meant they could take orders. I could use the strat, which made them stand still. Then I ordered them with first rank fire, second rank fire to double their output. And because I had Laurels of Command Relic, I often got off an extra order on them and gave them take aim as well to reroll everything. So that's a potential of 120 shots rerolling everything. They did a lot of work for me. I also had a Death Corps Quartermaster, and that gave out a 6+ feel no pain, which was quite nice for the conscripts. It did help them stay around a little bit longer. I found the army was very CP hungry. Even with the relic to regen CP, I ran out quickly. There's just so many nice ways to optimise your damage output, but that's a nice place to be. I particularly like shooting Overwatch because of those auto wounding 6s. Slightly expensive strategy after paying Overwatch to then also pay 1 CP for the Grenadiers strat, but I use this quite regularly as it allowed them to throw up to 10 grenades. So that's a potential 10 D6 attacks. I got loads of auto wounds that way. Having 3 upgrades on infantry squads was actually really nice. Your sergeant has a plasma pistol, you've got a melter gun in the squad, and they have a heavy weapon squad for them, and I took mortars from them all. It did actually do a lot of chip damage. A quick chat about my artillery and artillery lists in general. I think it's really important to consider the artillery to screen ratio, mainly to ensure your guns stay as active for as long as possible. So you have to consider how many guns you can hide and how well you can screen them. Running tanks, however, can give you a better rate of fire with grinding advance, often 2d6 shots from your turret gun, and with a better ballistic skill, even more so if you take pass because you have a ballistic skill of 2+. However, the outer line of sight shooting from artillery is just so powerful, so the tank ballistic skill isn't really the be-all and end-all. We are spoiled for guard artillery units, so just try and mix it up a bit. Manticores and Basilisks are great. Manticores with full payload. Basilisks with their 2d6 pick the highest for shots. Loads of cool strats like load, fire, reload for exploding 6s, aerial spotters for reroll all hits, and pounding barrage for shooting twice. Consider other guns like the Medusa siege cannon from Forge World. It's only T6 but has a more powerful gun with strength 10, D6 damage. And the heavy quad launchers can chuck out a lot of damage one shots. One thing that did catch me out was when an enemy smash character got into my backlines. It's really scary as they can tag and make blast artillery completely useless and just essentially walk down the back lines destroying everything. So if they have fly or like a jump pack, then they can get over the top of your screen and into your back lines. Space Marines flying smash characters are particularly lethal for this because they have small bases. It's actually quite difficult to set up your screens properly. So movement is critical. So if you've got lots of infantry, use movement trays and it can actually be quite quick. Focus on screening, having multiple lines of defence and getting lasguns in rapid fire, just so you can get the weight of dice. Laurels of Command is an auto include. It helps that all your infantry can take 3 Voxcasters. And with so many strats, working out the best combos is actually really key. Don't underestimate how many choices you'll have. Out of line of sight shooting is great to have in your back pocket. Not only does it make your enemy scared, but it comes in clutch all the time. And of course, auto-wounding hits is great. The Death Riders were probably my worst unit. They didn't really do a great deal, but at least they looked cool doing it. The Baneblade, while it has a lot of shots, only has a 3-up save, no invuln. I often found that a lot of shooting, and especially melee against it, just went straight through. That's a big whacking 500 points, so to be honest, next time it's more infantry and probably more artillery. I hope you like this second instalment of Diary of a Tournament Noob. If you do, give us a comment and please like it so it helps the video spread to others. See you again soon. Bye.